Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're someone who loves the idea of traveling but absolutely dreads the logistical nightmare of planning a complex, multi-destination trip, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're exploring a seriously fascinating new tool called the Roamwise AI Travel and Itinerary Agent. We're going to break down how this workspace doesn't just, build a trip, but actually manages the unpredictable realities of global travel for you.
Okay, let's dive into this because let's be real, we've all been there. You spend hours, maybe even weeks, painstakingly crafting the perfect travel itinerary on a massive spreadsheet. Every single hour is accounted for. And then you land and a sudden unseasonal storm washes out your entire schedule. Panic sets in, reservations are lost, and you're scrambling on spotty hotel Wi-Fi trying to salvage the day. But what if your itinerary was smart enough to actually see that storm coming and instantly rewrite itself to save your trip?
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. Meet the Roamwise AI agent. 2. Multi-city route generation. 3. Optimizing budgets across currencies. 4. Real-time itinerary adaptation. And finally, 5. Under-the-hood integrations.
Section 1. Meet the Roamwise AI agent, the absolute end of spreadsheet chaos.
You can go ahead and say goodbye to endless tabs and chaotic spreadsheets. Roamwise is designed as a dedicated all-in-one workspace that builds logical routes and, crucially, adapts on the fly. Looking right here at the initial trip inputs dashboard, this is where we set the guardrails for the AI. For our explainer today, we're going to look at a hypothetical 12-day journey. Notice that the budget limit is strictly capped at $6,200. We've selected a balanced travel pace, so, not too relaxed, but not overly packed either. And look at our destination pool: Tokyo, Seoul, and Bangkok. 3 incredibly vibrant cities, but for sure, 3 very different logistical challenges. Basically, you're giving the agent the constraints and it's taking the wheel from there.
Moving on to Section 2, Multi-City Route Generation, Mapping the Journey.
Anyone who's ever planned a trip across Asia knows that figuring out the flight routes, the transit legs, and exactly how many days to spend in each city is incredibly time-consuming. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how beautifully structured the output is. The AI hasn't just handed us a random list of cities. It has generated a fully optimized multi-city route progressing chronologically, from Tokyo over to Seoul and finishing up in Bangkok. And it lays the whole thing out in this highly visual day-by-day workspace. You can see exactly how those 12 days are distributed. It assigns specific arrival days, transfers, and neighborhood orientations right out of the gate. But it doesn't stop at vague city outlines. It actually plots specific, highly logical activities right into this daily schedule. For example, check out day 2 in Tokyo. It's already scheduled a visit to the famous Team Lab Borderless. Fast forward to day 8 in Seoul, and it has you exploring the Gyeongbokgung Palace. Down on day 10 in Bangkok, it's mapped out a Chao Phraya ferry ride. It's building a fully flushed-out daily schedule, complete with local transit routes preloaded for each specific activity. It's honestly like magic.
Section 3. Optimizing budgets across currencies. Math managed.
Let's be totally honest for a second. Calculating foreign exchange rates in your head while trying to track multiple spending categories across 3 completely different countries is a massive headache. The math gets really messy really fast. But look at this number right here, $4,658. If you recall from our initial setup, we gave the agent a strict budget limit of $6,200. Well, the budget optimizer has taken all those complex flights, the hotels, the activities across 3 countries, and kept the trip beautifully under budget. In fact, it explicitly shows you have $1,542 still available. Having that kind of financial peace of mind before you even book a single flight, that is an absolute game changer.
The absolutely crucial point here is how granular this budget optimizer really is. It doesn't just guess a flat daily rate and call it a day. It has calculated lodging at $1,275, meals at $544, activities at $680, flights at $1,318, and local transit at $456. But you want to know the absolute best part of this list. Down at the very bottom, a $385 emergency buffer. The AI knows that travel is unpredictable by nature, and it intentionally sets aside a dedicated cash buffer just to protect you. And this brilliantly illustrates how it gets those numbers so incredibly accurate. The agent is entirely FX aware. It seamlessly calculates live, local currency estimates for each destination. Running in the background of the dashboard, it's actively tracking the Japanese yen, the South Korean won, and the Thai baht.
It's constantly converting those local costs, whether it's a bowl of ramen in Tokyo or a tuk-tuk in Bangkok, straight back into your base budget of US dollars.
Section 4, Real-Time Itinerary Adaptation, Beating the Weather. Now, this is the absolute climax of what makes Roamwise so revolutionary. We establish right at the start that sudden weather risks can literally ruin a trip. Think about the contrast here. A standard itinerary is rigid, right? If you have an open-air walking tour planned and a massive rainstorm rolls in, your whole day is a wash. But look closely at the day-by-day board we saw earlier for Tokyo. The system actually detected a rain-likely weather risk on days 2, 3, and 4. So instead of leaving you stranded, the adapted itinerary dynamically advises you to move your open-air blocks to be near museums or covered markets. It anticipates the disruption before you even step outside your hotel lobby.
But it gets even more advanced when a major event happens. The user can actually trigger a specific adaptation signal. In our example here, the dashboard shows a storm in Bangkok signal active. When this hits, the live optimizer takes 3 exact, immediate steps to save your trip. Step 1. It moves the open-air river ferry and palace blocks to an earlier, safer time before the storm hits. Step 2. It instantly adds indoor alternates, specifically suggesting a covered market and a Thai massage, so you're not just sitting in your room. Step 3. It actively works to preserve your refundable transport bookings. It's literally like having an expert travel agent in your pocket, instantly rewriting the playbook while you just sip your morning coffee.
Let's move to Section 5, Under the Hood Integrations, and see how this builds and how it actually works behind the scenes.
To achieve this level of real-time magic, the AI has to be plugged directly into the real world. Here are the integration points feeding all that crucial data to the agent. For flights and lodging, it aims to connect with massive APIs like Amadeus, Stuffle, Booking, and Expedia Rapid. For those incredibly accurate FX rates we just talked about, it looks to treasury-level feeds like Open Exchange Rates. For weather, which powers that awesome storm adaption, it leverages OpenWeather and Tomorrow.io. And for maps and daily routing, it integrates with Google Maps platform and Mapbox. These back-end partnerships are the whole shebang. They're what turned a basic scheduling tool into a dynamic, reality-aware travel companion.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty exciting thought. We've seen how this technology transforms the chaos of real-world unpredictability, the currency math, the complex transit logistics, the sudden storms, into a totally effortlessly managed journey. If an AI agent can instantly rewrite your entire trip around a rain cloud while keeping you exactly $1,542 under budget, the question isn't just where you will go next, it's whether human travel agents can ever truly compete with this. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy travels out there.